Hello and welcome back to the channel. I actually just heard something very exciting to me. It was the Rwandan president. He was scolding other African leaders because he feels that they are too dependent on the West and that they run to the West with their problems. He's actually been saying something that I've said for a long time. I remember years ago speaking along these lines, and many others have said the same thing as well. With all of the resources of Africa, I don't understand why they feel the need to run to the West for help. Why are they going to Europe for help? They have vast resources all across the continent. And so basically what the Rwandan president was saying, he was like, why don't we all come together to address our own problems here on the continent? Why can't these African leaders join together with the same amount of excitement that they run to the West with? I guess he's feeling like, so are we running to daddy or something? I mean, why can't we just solve our own problems like adults? Why do we have to appear to be children running to our father? Father, help me. You see, that's what it seems like when you have all of these resources, you have all of this wealth, and there's enough wealth on the continent of Africa to where the leaders can pull together and say, look, let's solve this problem, then that one, and the next, and the next, and the next. But instead, they are borrowing money that isn't even real money to solve their problems. And they are giving up resources, real resources. And so a lot of African leaders are starting to say, look, I'm tired of this narrative. It makes us look like we don't know anything, like we need these other nations to help us, and we can't do it without them, like we're some juvenile children. Anyway, I want you to take a listen real quick at what this president had to say, the president of Rwanda, and I will be right back.
For me, when I'm watching on television and I find our leaders who should have been working together all along to address these problems that commonly affect their countries, wait until they are invited to go to Europe to sit there and just, it's like they are made to sit down and address their problems. Why does anybody wait for that? What image does it even give about us, about Africa? In fact, the image it gives is that we are not there to even address these problems. We are there for a photo opportunity. We are happy to sit there in Paris with the president of France and address and just talk about addressing problems. It doesn't make sense that our leaders cannot get themselves together to address problems affecting our people. It doesn't make sense. Of course, I'm saying this painfully. On the other hand, that I look forward for the time when I can be like the two former presidents. I think they are more free to say things than I do. Being where they are and me being where I am. So I tend to remain with some reservations about what I have to say, because but I think there is that serious problem. African leaders, we don't need to be invited anywhere to go and address our problems without first inviting ourselves to come together to tell each other the actual truth that we must tell each other about our serious problems.
Okay, as you just heard, he just laid it all out. He said, what are we doing here? What are we doing? We should be able to handle our own business and take care of our own problems. Why do we keep running there like this is a necessity? Like if we don't go and sit at the table with them, that we just won't survive. I think what has happened is they have built this worldwide dependency on them. And a lot of African leaders are starting to say, look, this seems backwards. You know, recently, the president of Ghana, he said, you know what? You all keep selling chocolate, calling it Swiss chocolate or Belgium chocolate, but you're getting your raw materials from us. He said, you know what? No more. We're not going to send you our cocoa anymore. First of all, you don't treat us right. You treat us like we are nothing. And so why the heck should we continue to send our cocoa so that you can call it Belgium chocolate or Swiss chocolate, and you sell it around the world at a high premium, and you're not even giving us what we want or what is fair to us for those raw materials. And so they said, you know what, we are going to make our own chocolate. We're going to make our own chocolate. And see how you're going to sell your Swiss and Belgium chocolate then. Now, I'm pretty sure there's other areas around the world that sell cocoa as well. But the Ivory Coast and Ghana are the top two suppliers. And so I would be very interested in seeing how this is all going to play out, because they are tired of this little game that's being played with the West, where they get no respect, but the West still gets resources from them as if they are expecting them to continue to consent to being treated this way. But anyway, I am so proud of them. One thing that I do say is very sad, because we have seen instances where if the West doesn't get what it wants, then they will make things happen. They make people disappear. A lot of people are questioning as to why a couple of African presidents or leaders have died of heart attacks because of something that they didn't agree with the West on. Now, we've seen all of the movies where people say you're a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but we've seen movies where all they have to do is have someone stick you with something that's got some type of poison in it, or it's do this or do that, and instantly you have a heart attack. We've seen those things happen. We know that these things are very possible. So this is nothing to do with conspiracy theories. This is real, okay? But it's really sad that if you don't go along with the game, that your life could be at stake. It shows you that we are not dealing with fairness here. We're not dealing with fairness. And some people are okay with that. They're okay with basically mistreating, misusing, and abusing others. They're okay with that. But these brave men, brave leaders in Africa who are standing up, I applaud them. Of course, some people are saying they should just keep the peace. What do you mean keep the peace? Whenever someone says keep the peace, they're basically saying keep letting them run over you to keep the peace. So you're not allowed to say, look, we don't want to play this silly game anymore. We want to stand up for our rights. We want to be treated fairly. When you do that, then they say, oh, you are the troublemaker. We are in one sick world, you all. We are in a sick world. And no one wants to acknowledge the fact that there is wickedness within their race. I don't know how many times my husband and myself have to say this, but we look at our people, we know and we understand that there is some awful things coming forth from our people. As a matter of fact, we are mandated by the Most High to cry aloud and spare not, and lift up our voices like trumpets in Zion, and show our people their transgressions. We don't sit here and pretend like black people are innocent victims. Okay? We understand that there is a judgment that is slated for those who refuse to repent. We understand that. But when we look at some of these other races, many of them, they refuse to even acknowledge that there's anything wrong within their group. It's everybody else's fault. But you see, that is the kind of world we live in, where people just don't want to acknowledge. Everyone wants to believe that them or their race is perfect. And I make no such claim. I know that we have a heap of problems, which is why we are in the situation we're in the first place. But it's going to take a whole lot for some of these other races to realize or to even admit that they are not right by us and they don't do right by us. It was all prophesied though, so I'm not complaining, I'm just stating the obvious. It is what it is. Anyway, I'm done with this video. If you want to, you can leave a comment below. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, share and like this video. And with that, I'm out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.